Preparing live. This meeting is being live streamed. Setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. Redirecting you to YouTube. I don't know how to quit when we get going.
We'll just leave the meeting.
There we go. We're on.
Welcome to our first YouTube Live. This is so exciting. We can check this off our bucket list. It was never on my bucket list, but now it's done.
And that's so funny because I can see it and it's a little bit behind. So now we know.
That's awesome.
So here we go.
Welcome to our first YouTube Live. This is so exciting. We can check this off our bucket list. Is the leg bothering you?
No, it's okay. It's just now we know. So it's okay. Go.
Sweet. So this is a big week. A lot of maybe New Year's resolutions have been made, and we're in the thick of things. I've talked to some women and they're like, I haven't even started doing any New Year's resolutions. It just hasn't felt like that vibe. However, there's a lot of people that have or are intending to do different things. And this Friday is a special day for anyone reconsidering their commitments, because it's known to be one of the times where people decide that, you know what, maybe their goal wasn't for them, or it's too big and they're failing, or they haven't been able to really go forward and they quit, which is really sad. So Deb, how are you doing with your New Year's?
I'm not one to make a lot of resolutions because I constantly have goals that are ever changing or growing or pivoting, depending on whether I might have an inspired action to pivot in a different direction. So I do like to set goals. I like to set intentions for myself, but I do find that they are ever moving and ever changing. However, always coming into the new year, I like to reevaluate maybe some areas of my life that I would like to make greater commitments with. And I think my health and fitness is definitely one of those. And so before the new year, I actually bought a Peloton and I'm loving it because it tracks literally any type of exercise. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the bike. Mm-hmm. So it's making me accountable to myself, because when I see the blue dot on the calendar, that means I've done something and I've focused on my health and well-being. So that's important to me, to be held accountable to myself, and I can only commit to myself. I don't think a New Year's resolution has to be a huge goal, because I think if it's too big, then we don't stick with it. So I like to kind of, if it's a habit that you're trying to change, first of all, it's changing the habit of thought. And I think that's so incredibly big for any action that you're trying to change. You have to get your mindset in the right place. And can you make it fun? Can it be easy? How can you set yourself up for success? So if it's getting up early to exercise, are you doing the things that make it easy for you? And what's the word I'm looking for? Like setting your clothes out the morning before. How can you make it easy to get to? And how can you make it fun? Because if those two things are there, you're more likely to stick with it. How about you?
Yeah, I love the fun aspect, because I see some people I coach, and it's like, you can tell in their faces, it's like, okay, I have to do this because it's good for me. And your health is like, there's just no run around it. Like, health is always a priority, because without this body, like, there just isn't, like, you definitely get a feel when you're sick. And especially after like being in lockdowns and everything else, I think it's just such more awareness. However, it's like, that doesn't have to mean like running on the treadmill, because that's cardio and you have to do it. Like, if you love to do something, it's having fun with it, and it's making it reasonable. Like, going, like, even for myself, like me going to the gym an hour a day, yuck, like, no thank you.
So
like
true.
I'm not doing that. And I know in the past I've been like, hey, like, this is it. So it's really tweaking those goals, and you're gonna flop if it's not this Friday on the 13th, or what's today? So it'd be Thursday the 13th, or whatever the 13th is.
It's
That's the
Friday.
day that it's
I
like
think it's
National
Friday the
Pudding Day, that
13th.
it's like probably grab the bottle of wine. You've you've failed in 2 weeks. It's like, no, like, commitment's a renewable resource, and you got 365 days this year, and it's going to take more than just 2 weeks into it to carve out that mindset and that habit.
And
Similar
celebrate the
to
2 weeks that you have done something. Like, what have you done in those 2 weeks? So if you've started in 2 weeks and you, out of 7 days, you did three, celebrate the three, try for four. And it doesn't have to be, like you say, an hour. It can be 10 minutes. There's literally 10-minute YouTube exercises. And I think for me, it was always like, oh my gosh, it's like 10 minutes to the gym, 10 minutes home. So I took that excuse right out and bought my machine for my house. So I literally have no excuse. And it can be as little as a 10-minute stretch, a yoga, Pilates. For some people, it's dancing. It does not have to be rigorous, training that some people do. It can be whatever is fun for you. Just get your body moving, or whatever that is for you. Or if it's quitting smoking, okay, so you had a cigarette, but you went 3 days without one, go back to where you were. It can be for anything, drinking, whatever it is for you, whatever your New Year's resolution is. Don't stop just because you maybe fell down, because like you say, commitment is a renewable resource, and you can start again the next hour, the next minute, the next day, whatever that is for you.
reevaluate it. Like, you might start with 10, 15 minutes, and then next year, before you know it, like, you're one of those people that have totally changed their lifestyle and go now to the gym for an hour. Like, that's the thing about habits. Like, I have been pretty rigorous the last 5 years, and people look at me like, how do you do all of this? And it's quite simple. I started making my bed. Like, wasn't someone who like loved to make my bed and blah blah blah. So
You
it's
didn't
like,
make
oh,
your
just start
bed?
making my bed
Gosh.
and having a glass of water in the morning. Like, I just started really, really small, and then I would layer on another really small activity. And it wasn't these like huge moments. It was like a couple years of like seeing what works for me. And then there's stuff like seasonally, like I used to get up every morning at like 5:36, go for a walk, watch a sunrise. Obviously in the winter, that's not happening. And I just found like I was pushing myself so much just to hit that mark, saying that like, okay, I woke up at 6. Like, I'm a morning person. And I very much am a morning person. Like, I wake up and it's like, yes, like the day has arrived. However, I've recognized enough with the seasonal stuff. Like, maybe my body needs a little bit more rest in the winter, and in the summer, like, have that energy. So your goals could evolve during the season, and allow those to shift and move. Like, have some flexibility with your life. If something isn't working, like, don't give up on it just because you don't like it. But like, really check in. Like, if this isn't working and you want to replace it with something different, like, that's okay. Like, there's no rules.
And habits take some time to create change in your life. It's not going to happen in one day. They say it takes about 21 days to really be fixated in a new habit. So, be gentle with yourself as you're trying to accomplish new habits in the new year. And just because they say it's Quitters Friday on January 13th, doesn't mean that you have to be one of them. And it doesn't mean that you can't recommit if you find that you have fallen aside on some of your goals.
Unless you're like quitting smoking this Friday, that could be a good goal. Or you decide to quit sugar. Be a quitter. And
what if we change it? What if we change it from Quitters Day to Winning Day? What are we going to win at this Friday? Don't be the quitter. I'm going to be a winner.
I'm going to make myself a tiara and be a winner tiara.
That's awesome. Well, I hope you're continuing to work towards your New Year's resolutions or creating new, healthier habits for 2023. And I encourage you not to be a quitter, be a winner this Friday. We'll see you next Monday.